Bob Lazar, a man that many people know as the original whistleblower to UFOs and aliens, completely blowing the lid off of everything Area 51 and everything Department of Defense, really. He was kind of the trailblazer for a lot of UFO enthusiasts and alien enthusiasts, and he has been under the watchful eye of the FBI ever since. And he actually got raided by the FBI because they believed he had trace elements of element 115, which is a chemical which can cause mass chaos if released to the public. So, you're probably wondering, if you haven't heard of him already, who is Bob Lazar? Well, here is who Bob Lazar is when he spoke to Joe Rogan on his podcast, The Joe Rogan Experience, in his own words.
I first heard your story decades ago. I told you last night when we went out to dinner, I've seen pretty much every interview you've ever given. You used to work at Area 51. And Area 51...
Well, we want to be accurate.
Okay.
Area S4.
S4, okay.
It's about 15 miles south of Area 51.
Before that, you were working...
Before that, I had worked at Los Alamos
Right.
National Labs in New Mexico.
And you were involved in what kind of work there?
Nuclear weapon development, physics. I mean, they do everything there.
So how do they approach you to say, hey, Bob, why don't you come on out to the Nevada desert?
At that time, it was 1982. I had put a jet engine in my Honda, and Los Alamos put it on the front page of the paper. Said, the day that came out on the front page of the paper was the day Edward Teller, the father of the hydrogen bomb, was giving a lecture down there at the lab. And we didn't have much going on that day in our group, and I asked if I could go down there. And I went down there early, and Ed Teller was outside, leaning on a brick wall there and reading the front page of the paper. Now, this is a guy out of history, so I introduced myself. Hey, I'm the guy you're reading about there. And we talked for a little while, and it was cool.
So, as you can tell from that, obviously that was how he kind of got into his role in Area 51. Well, he doesn't claim for it to be Area 51, but it was Area 51. And as he moves forwards, obviously he begins to learn things while he's in his career, and he hears things and he sees things and he witnesses things, and he really kind of gets hands-on with a lot of UFO alien stuff. And it got to a point where he literally blew the whistle on all of this, completely exposed Area 51 for what it truly was. Before Bob Lazar, Area 51 was just this highly classified area. Then this guy comes along and it suddenly becomes this alien hotspot. Moving forwards, obviously Bob Lazar is then on every hit list for the FBI and stuff. He's very closely monitored all the time. On a Larry King episode, he actually explained the reason why the FBI actually raided his house, seemingly for no reason at all. Take a look at this.
Is the government watching you, Bob?
I didn't think they were after 30 years, but, due to recent events, I would probably change.
What happened?
Jeremy and I had a private conversation out in a remote area of my property. Cell phones in our pockets, but turned off.
All filmed.
And filming it. And Jeremy was down there to film some of this documentary. He left the following morning, and simultaneously there was an FBI raid at my place of business.
Yeah. Looking for what?
Well, they said they were looking for some receipts from an individual that might have bought some toxic material from a company.
They were able to repeat back verbatim a portion of the conversation that we thought was private, and that shocked us because we were joking that nobody even cared 30 years later what he says. But apparently it's not as it appears. There were 27 forensic agents with a truck there for paperwork. I don't know. We don't really care. We just know now that our conversations are not private.
So, very coincidentally, if you think back to present day and the things that have been going on in Miami, with the presence of agencies and police that showed up there, at Miami Mall on January 1st, when everyone said that it was supposedly just kids setting off fireworks, it sounds surprisingly, strikingly similar to what Bob Lazar experienced in his home when they were searching for this element 115 that he supposedly had sold on through his company, which was unfounded claims. But it gets even stranger than that, because in another episode, Larry King kind of presses to find out what 115 is capable of if it were to get in the wrong hands. And what we found out was pretty disturbing.
Element 115 is a super heavy element. It's something that we only just recently synthesized. We only made 4 atoms of it. The craft uses larger quantities of it, 223 gram little triangles of it. But it's a unique element. When it's exposed to radiation, it produces its own gravitational field, its own anti-gravitational field, and it's what's used to lift and propel the craft and create distortions around it. It's an amazing material, and it's certainly nothing that occurs here or naturally.
And it can be weaponized, and that's kind of the issue here. If this story is all true, that can be weaponized.
Absolutely.
So it goes to show that actually we have synthesized this, but how have they discovered its probabilities? How have they discovered how to create it? How have they discovered this entirely? It really gets the mind boggling, because with everything that's been coming out recently, with all of these crafts, the jellyfish UFO, the aliens in Miami, the Brazil aliens, these things over Beijing, it's really kind of all linking together a lot more. And Jeremy Corbell then goes on to speak about why the US government keeps such a hush-hush on everything Area 51, everything aliens, everything UFO. And this is what he had to say for that.
Why does the government hide this?
We're living in a different world now. Since December of 2017 with Commander David Fravor, the Tic Tac UFO case, which I broke before the New York Times. I reported on that twice. That case opened the door, so we now know the government did not stop studying UFOs in 1969. There's a program called ATIP. That program is now acknowledged. So what are they afraid of? I think they're afraid of weaponization. I think that's the issue here. And also, you're right, we're not alone in the universe, but are they visiting here? And that's the question that they've been unwilling.
Why don't they just release information that these events occurred, and they can keep the technology secret? That I've never understood, so I'm with you on that.
Why are they afraid of you? What are you going to tell us?
Just what I did, the existence of the project.
All right. Why are they so afraid of that?
I don't. You'd have to ask them that.
Why do you think, Jim? What are they afraid of?
It's a big concept, Larry. It's a big concept that we're not alone and that we're being visited. And in 1989, that's explosive. To this day, we're in a different world. I do believe that. What has come out by the Pentagon, the videos by Commander Fravor, that they admitted there are unknown aerial objects of advanced technology that are fly with impunity in our airspace. It is now admitted by our government. If people don't know that, they now need to know that. We're in a different world. I'm very optimistic.
Insane stuff. Incredibly insane stuff. And it leads to a lot of questions. Why do the government keep all of this quiet? Why are we not allowed to know? And why are they so afraid of these men, Bob Lazar, Jeremy Corbell, people who are front runners, now David Grush as well, who speak out about this thing? Why are they so afraid of these people, and why are they so afraid of the conversations they have, to the point where private conversations that they believe to be private are no longer private, and people are, like, you know, hearing this through telecoms and stuff, and then raiding the house? It leads a lot of questions, which I then hand over to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on all of this down in the comments below. I'd love to hear everything that you have to say about this. What's your thoughts on Bob Lazar? I know he's a very controversial figure, whether it's true, whether it's not true. Either way, he's made rifts and waves in the UFO space. Anyway, while you're down there talking about it, be sure to jump to get the hell out of that like button. Subscribe if you're new, and tickle my little bell so you get notified whenever we upload. And until next time, guys, I hope that you have enjoyed, and I cannot wait to see you in the next one, and we'll speak to you later. Peace.